Don't you all just love it? And you missed everything. Let's say hello to some people. Keiko is here. Hello, hello. Mars is here. Hello, besties, says Malin. Can't wait to hear all about it since she didn't read this one. And that's fair. Susan is here. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you too. I love Tuesday spelled with a CH. It is my favorite day of the week. Susan read this book in 2015 and don't remember anything other than that it was inspirational rather than instructional. She would have a field day on this channel, let's just say. Muted and with so much expression. What can I say? I've been slacking up on my Botox, so your boy can express. Becca is here. Hello. Who's running late? Nobody was running late. I was initially planning to do this at 8 o'clock. Don't know why I put it at 7 o'clock. Probably because it's like halfway automated the way my stream is set up. So I was going to wait. But then Malin made a demand, and unlike the United States of America, I negotiate with terrorists. So I just went live. So this first hour is just going to be me, and we're going to do a little sprinting and some little chatting because I still have words to get. And then when Grape arrives, we will be getting into the book. What book, might you ask? If it's not evident from the title, we're talking about Bird by Anne Lamott. I have thoughts. Thoughts? No. What is the opposite of capital thoughts? Lowercase thoughts? I have lowercase thoughts about this book. In any case, Phoebe is here. Or do a sprint. I'm bored. I live to serve you, Malin. After all. Phoebe is here. Hello, hello. I know. I'm a clown. Insert clown emoji. And also, as Wendy says, howdy partners. This is kind of funny. He'll figure it out eventually. Thank God I'm reading comments, or else would still be on mute. Uh, Hello, Nina Natasha. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yes, love this from you. I also love this for you. Rashad says, hello, heard a few people talking about this book. Can't wait to hear your thoughts. Thoughts? Steve 2025. I'm running for an election. Don't know which one, but that's going to be my slogan. Thoughts? Haven't finished it yet. I guess this will be a spoiler alert for you, Wendy. I hope you don't mind. Question mark. I actually got to read this one. There was no wait at my library for the ebook. Ooh. And as always, I'd be delighted if anyone else in chat wanted to share some thoughts as me and Grape share thoughts. Thoughts? Who's to say? This is, yeah. It sounds very professional, writer's chat, but it's just two people on the internet talking about a book that they read. That is all it is. This is not an official organ of any sort. We're not an official department. This is not a peer reviewing. Just two idiots on the internet voicing their opinions. And one of these idiots will be arriving in about 45 minutes. Definitely don't mind it. I'm pretty sure I'll still finish it. Ooh, prepping for a rough draft challenge. Got my 5K reward today. Unpacking it, of course, when I get the 5K next week. Ooh, what is their reward? I do like a good reward. I will save my thoughts for when Grape gets here so she's not left out. That's very friendly of you. You have time. Grape isn't here yet. Yeah, you could probably finish in 45 minutes. It's something. I'm making a thumbnail trying to decide on the title for my next video. Ooh, what's it about? Is it a timer? Because I've been seeing them timers you've been putting out. And we're going to use the first one for this first sprint. So don't you worry. What is everyone working on today except reading for you, Wendy, I guess? Call in. I am ever so slightly making progress in my novel. It is going towards the end of Act 2, which is very exciting. I think I can make it by the end of this month if I put a little gusto into my process. Is that the right word? What does gusto mean? Let me just make sure that I gusto meaning enjoyment and enthusiasm in doing something. There you go. Um, if I just put a little gusto into my writing, I think I can make it to the end of the act by this weekend, which would be very exciting because that would mean that I get to start Act 3, which I haven't outlined, and I don't know how the book ends. So we'll see. I feel like the camera is very wobbly today. I'm sorry. I'm just very fervent in my emotions. You'll have to deal with it. Yeah, it's not an earthquake. It's just me slamming in my desk. Rachel is here. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. It's a really pretty bookmark that I had my eyes on, posting a picture on the Discord when I unpack it. Ooh, I do love a good bookmark. I got some by a friend for Christmas. She made these and sent them to me. I also have this one that another friend made, but she sent to me. Oh, I love this one. This kind of reminds me of the carving on like the halls of Edoras in Lord of the Rings, like kind of Viking carving. Stunning, beautiful bookmarks. I do love a good bookmark. I don't think. I think for a boilie pop who has a lot of writer friends, I do not have a lot of bookmarks, and that could be seen as a critique of the community. Why aren't people making more bookmarks? I need bookmarks. Uh, I love making demands, says Malin. Ooh, Steve, can you give us vibes of the day with your tarot also? Ooh, as your local terrorist or tarot-rist, if you will. Sure, Malin, I'll pull a card for you, even though it's not the first Wednesday of the month. We can do that. Why not? Is there anything you want read, Malin, except your shelf, the house down boots? Yeah, tarot test. Nina says, I have to do chores because I have not actually done anything around my home because all I do is play Sims, which is so Nina coded of you and also so real. Becca's outlining a new script for a video or for a like actual body of art. That was a weird way of phrasing it. Susan will be Goldmine horror brainstorming, maybe a bit of actual writing, maybe Mortal Job sadness, or Mortal Job happy. I don't know. I love having a Mortal Job. I will try the anagram for my characters. It's not a timer, haha. It's another let's chat mostly about joining a writing community through AuthorTube. Ooh. Which also Anne Lamott talks about it in Bird by Bird, so hold on to that hat if you have one. Mars is setting up their Bujo for April. Do you have a theme, a color scheme? Call in. Phoebe needs to do novel research, and Wendy is pretty much doing the same thing. And Marlon would like vibes for writing, so I guess career is probably right, but just not about my actual career. Okay. Isn't that more like a creative sort of thing, writing? I don't know. You can get whatever you want, as I said, Malin. Your wish is my command. I am a genie. Let's split the deck in two for Malin, and we're going to pull for you, Malin. The Moon Reversed. This, I think we got this the last time I did a reading too. So at least you're a consistent queen. Or was you not the Moon Reversed, maybe? The Moon Reversed. Creativity. The Moon Caro. Girl and her moon.com. No. Where's Biddy? Good old Biddy. Oh, this is because I severely misspelled it. There you go. Yeah. Oh no, not again. I mean, you asked Malin. This is the consequences of your actions. That is not a crime. I mean, maybe it is a crime. Let's see what it says first. The moon reversed. Isn't there a point about? Oh no, there isn't. The moon reversed indicates that you have been dealing with illusions, fears, and anxiety, and now the negative influences of these energies are subsiding. That's the good news, though. You are working through your fears and anxieties, understanding the impact they have on your life and how you can free yourself from such limiting beliefs, Malin. This is truly liberating and transformational experience. You may try to bury these feelings even deeper within your subconscious so you can avoid your dark shadows. You may not be ready to face your emotions, pushing them to the side and pretending as if nothing is wrong. That sounds very Malin-coded, though, I will say. The strategy might work in the short term, but eventually you will need to resurface these emotions and deal with them head on. The moon reverse can also show you the moon reverse can also show that you are receiving intuitive messages and psychic downloads but are struggling to understand what they mean for you. The message may be confusing or your interpretations differs from what you read elsewhere. When the moon is reversed, you are being called to listen to your inner voice and not the voices of someone else. Trust that the answer you need are already within you, Malin. Um, and tune into your inner guidance systems to hear those answers. Pay attention to your dreams and keep a dream diary. Oh yeah, remember this. But there you go, Malin. You've been mouthpiece. I hope this card found you well. Is there like a one where you get sort of the creativity aspect? Because I like those. Upright, who cares? Money and career. Oh, this is all upright. Come on, where's reversed? Health, spirituality. That's not how you pronounce that. Okay. I guess we'll try to career. This is for your writing career. In a career context, if you work in an artistic or creative field, the universe knows, Malin. Graphic design is your passion. The moon reverse can indicate a creative block, such as writer's block. Not manifesting that. In a general career context, it can indicate that any uncertainty or instability that you've been experiencing in your career will begin to stabilize. Okay, it's still a good thing though. If you have been unclear about your career path recently, this major arcana card can signify that things will start to become clearer and you will feel more confident about your direction. You can see clearly now that the rain has gone. Let's see how Malin fell into this. Sure. Oh my God, literally today I was going to go get stressed with work and I was just like, no, when I close my laptop, work is gone. So that kind of resonates on that. I love. And then also had my feedback for demons from Anna, and I guess I need to get rid of my own doubts in order to start querying soon. Yes. Don't claim the writer block one. Things clearer equals about demons. Yeah. Ooh, love this. Four, I've never been a three player. Maybe I should dust off the old two. Oh, Sims versions. Sorry. Yep. You go, Linkoko. Mars says, this year I'm dedicating to using my stationery stash. I pulled two purple floral washi tapes since they feel springy. I do love a good floral for springs. Groundbreaking. I'm going to pull a crow oracle. Don't know what this means, but sounds ominous. I like it. And that shall conclude this part of the event, I guess. We're going to dive into our first sprint because I still need to get some words done before Grape get here. And I have the perfect timer. That's camera off. That's not present. There you go. I have the perfect timer for this, which is this lovely 30-minute seaside timer, no music waves alarm by Ms. Malin Tries. She sure do tries, and she sure does succeed. As Malin says, woohoo, we're going to do 30 minutes on the clock. Maybe Grape is here when we get back. Maybe not. I guess, no one can predict the future, except the past. I don't know. Let's just go into a 30-minute sprint on the clock. If you want to tell me what you're working on writing-wise, I'd love to hear about it. If you don't want to tell me, that's sus. That's weird. But we're going to dive into the sprint right and now and see you on the other side. Ooh, tingles. What a lovely little thunder of waves. I was very, very comfortable on the ears. Thank you, Malin. For that sprint, I wrote 208 words. I had my big declaration of love between my main characters and his love interest. Uh, and I have. Oh no. Are you pulling my leg, Wendy? Are you pulling my leg? I'm very, very delicate. Okay. Thank God. You're a menace, Wendy. Yeah, I had this big declaration of love. This is the last little upswing before everything goes to shits again. Um, the next chapter is literally going to be the bad guys close in, the final beat of that. How many scenes is that? Save that cat writes a novel. Let me just do this live on air because that's riveting content to watch. There's a little beat sheet. It's going to be the actual Dark Knight of the Soul. No, it's going to be the All Is Lost. This is the All Is Lost scene, the one coming up now. I have a blank page, which is terrifying, but I will. This too shall pass. I'm just writing, look, in this chapter, I need this and this and this to happen. This is how this happens. This is the outcome. Blah 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 blah. So that's what I'm doing. That's what I did. Finished my scene 41 at 208 words for the day, and then I did some outlining for scene 42. Ugh, I hate being a pantser. Why did I choose this life, or did it choose me? I can't really tell at this point. Let's see. Nina finished the chores and playing Sims again, and Katie says hello. And where's Grape? I thought I'd see two of my besties on screen today. You will soon. Grape is due any minute. At the top of the hour, but she had to come home from work, and there's timey-wimey shenanigans still going strong. Also, note to self and note to troublemakers, I'll be 1 hour late tomorrow too for the last Wednesday before the time change happens. Malin made dinner and posted a video. I did see that, so I'll definitely put that on at some point during the day. Trackbear says I need 666 words today to be on pace. I'm sure this will be fine. Whew. That's dicey, Susan, but I believe in you. I shared a picture of my April cover page on the Discord. Oh, let's go and have a look. Have a goosey gander. In the crafting corner, maybe? Oh, this is very cute. Excellent choice of washi tapes. Can I present? Or is that going to somehow... Let's not present. Very cute, Mars. I approve. Not that you need my approval, but if you want it, you have it. Let's see. Aw, sweet declaration of love are my fave to read, to write. They are so... they are... It was very difficult, and it is so bad. It is so bad. But it's the first draft, so all it has to be is to be. And yeah, it is nothing groundbreaking. It's very cliched, very like, do you ever think about what would happen if we chose to stay, both of us? And they're gonna be like, yes, every day. It is like, can I choose to stay with you today now? And I would like nothing more. It's bad. It's bad. But yeah, I do like a good declaration of love to read and to write. It was me. Whoops, I muted the tab when I switched back to it. Okay, clown behavior, Wendy. Clown behavior. That was a lunch sprint for me. Now I should do like some more work. Cry emoji. Maybe you should, Kitty. Maybe you should. Malin says, I find it so hard to write, so I'm impressed you got... I find it so hard to write, so I'm impressed you got it done. Declarations of love or just writing in general? Phoebe did 30 minutes of researching one historical building that appears in my novel. That is valuable time spent. Um, Grape is edging us, I see. Not timey-wimey shenanigans still. Lexus Katoon is here. Ketchunen. Hello, Lexus. Welcome to the show. Thanks for telling me because I fully thought that was sorted by now. It is not. Yeah, the crafting corner. The purple is so lovely, very April coded to me. Also, why I made the April calendar purple indigo themed. Okay, even if the love declaration is cheesy, it still always gets to me. The declaration of love, lol. Whenever I write them, they feel so fake cringe. I mean, this is also cringe, Malin, but it's only a first draft, so it doesn't have to be nothing else than cringe. All it does have to be is to have to be on the page, so I can edit it later. And I think I have a very similar confession of love earlier in Act Two. I apparently only have two ways of describing a love interest, and that is eyes and then the motion of their hand. And I milked that cow for everything she's worth. So I can't wait to kind of dig into this book again whenever I edit it and actually change things up instead of just repeating the same words over and over and over again. So that shall be very exciting. Okay, but those are goaded ways to describe the love interest. Okay, yes. But in every time there's like an intimate moment between them, like every time I'm trying to progress the relationship, I'm just like eyes, hands, eyes, hands. You feel the breath on his face, they kiss, and it's just like, okay, do something else, do my brows. I just need to come up with different descriptions. You can prod the description of hands and eyes from my cold, dead hands. I won't, because I also love them apparently. To be fair, that's what people are interested in reading. I mean, yes, again, I'm not saying that I don't want these descriptions in my books. I'm just saying just do something else. Like I don't want to do the same thing in every like relationship progressing scene. I just want it to be different from time to time. Like show more of the love interest than just the hands and the eyes that swirl like whiskey, etc., etc. Insert hand flex by Mr. Darcy. That is the hottest thing that a man has ever done on television, and you cannot convince him otherwise. Do something else. Do your brows. It's sending me to the moon. I quite literally put a hand flex Mr. Darcy style in backhand compliments, and every single person commented on it. That is an homage, though. So, not mad about it. And yeah, as Malin says, iconic. I really thought Grape was going to be here by now, so I'm not sure what to do. Uh, do you want to play a game? There's no games. That's just a quote from Saw. Or is it Saw? What movie is the one with the little doll and the swirly cheeks? I don't know. But I think Lexus is new here. Lexus, what are you working on? Are you a writer? Do you write? Hmm. What kind of games is Malin? I don't know. Yeah, Saw. Not a pleasant movie franchise. Whoever conceptualized Saw needs therapy, and it's not me. I also need therapy, but I think some people need therapy more than others. Um, I guess it's just sprint time, and then we'll. Oh, it is an homage, and it works even better because Luca and Jules have touched for the first time, and Jules really is feeling the tingles in her fingers. Anyway, this is lovely. I love this. It is an homage, and it does work well. Do I have an homage in my book to Pride and Prejudice? No, but I should. Let's just check out the next timer in selection, I guess, until we wait for Grape. I'm working on a YA novel about the daughter of Nox, the god of the underworld. It would be my debut novel. Oh, I love a good A. Wow, I just got pregnant from that one touch vibes in romances. Love the tingles. Um, what is the daughter of Nox up to? Call in, Lexis. I'm very interested. I love anything mythological. I think any person, or any writer at least, has at some stage in their childhood had an obsession with a pantheon, if not all of them. I think I just went through them one by one, like dominoes. But I do love a good mythology retelling or and like creation story or a what's it called? A reference frame? I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, let us go into the next sprint, which is going to be a plane ride. Where are we going, you ask? I don't know. Destination? Final. That's for sure. Let's do 2505. Why not? Um, oh, totally. My first novel series that I wanted to write was Greek pantheon themed, but like the Titans themed. What a time. Is this the play? Oh, hello, friends. If you give me a moment, I'm coming. Choice of words. Uh, my biggest fan, truly, Malin. If you have one fan left, it's me. If you have zero fans, I'm dead. Thank you for using them. Makes me so happy. It makes me very happy to use them. Are these pictures you have taken yourself? Is this a plane ride to Paris? Do we see the Eiffel Tower somewhere in the distance? Probably not, because it's a still frame, I think. But let's do a 10-minute grape timer to give grape some time to get here. No, they're Unsplash. Oh, I think Notion uses Unsplash, right, for their headers, which I do like. And they are very pretty. Oh no, this was when I was like 16, I think. It was called Night World and about an alternate dimension with factions based on creatures that were Titan themed. And the girlie was the daughter of Nyx, and she had been raised outside and brought in, and political stuff going on. Sounds like a dream book. Love it. Night World. What I'm thinking? Night Vale. What is that? Not important. We're gonna do a little. Ooh, but the fun timer a couple different focus. Lol. As you should. As you should. Um, I have been writing about divine war caused by the Nox having a mortal child with a human woman. That's a faux pas. That's a godly faux pas. Nothing good has ever come out of having a mortal child. Just ask Hercules. Just ask the guy with the heel. His name is, oh my God, Patroclus and Achilles. There you go. Oh, it's literally in his name. But yeah, nothing good has ever come out of that. It was a fun book, even if it made me real sense or like had no real bones. There you go. Um, Achilles, lol, yeah, the guy with the heel. I mean, I guess they all have heels, most of them, but you knew what I meant. You knew what I meant. English is my second language. Give a guy a break, please. No guy has ever been given a break before, so why don't we start that now? Yeah, 10 minutes on the clock for Grape to get here, and off we go. Cabin crew prepare for landing indeed. These audios, Malin, serve. Absolutely serve. And that was 1 hour plane timer, no music, plane noise alarm by Ms. Malin, right? How do I just, I guess stop sharing is the one. Thank you so much for sharing. In those 10 minutes, I got my opening sentence for this chapter down, so that's good. Question mark. That needed to be done anyway. So that was good. I also watched 10 minutes of Malin's new video. 10 out of 10. It's like I don't know. It brings me joy, Malin. It brings me joy. Um, Malin asks, does anyone know why my chapters don't work on YouTube? I can see the timestamps I wrote in the description doesn't seem to work on that one. I do not know, Malin. I wish I could help you, but maybe someone else can. Can you tell I'm craving a holiday? I can actually. It's very like, ooh, seaside, plane ride, club, not the club, bus. Phoebe says, oh my God, I love the audio at the end. Me too. It is very satisfying in like an ASMR kind of way. And I'm not huge on ASMR anyway. But this is doing it for me somehow. I'm just doing more setting up their bujo, says Mars. Well, I really thought Grape would be here by now. Ooh, writing in the club. Perfect for my next timer. Yes, please. It's just like scribbling noises and then a vague like uh, beat in the background. That'd be perfect. I watched Smilin's video. I loved it so much because I've been thinking about Community so much lately. Ooh, Community, the TV show, or the community of AuthorTube, or WriterTube, or Writer Discord. What is the name of the community? Does anyone know? Um, and Malin says, "Thank you." But I think we're just gonna have to start this without Ms. Grapple because time's a wasting. Let's see. No, our community, sweetie. Um, just the troublemakers. Which is the superior community in my honest opinion, though also in my biased opinion. I don't know. Um, Grape, if you're watching, love you so much, but we gotta get this show on the road. You said you'd be a moment, and that was 15 minutes ago. 100 emoji, agree. Oh, you're so sweet. I was just getting to the bit where you talked about Jess and Kate Kavanaugh's stream, so I presume there'll be a name drop soon. But speaking of name drops, we got an hour and 11 minutes into this stream. We have to talk about the book that I said I would talk about, which is Bird by Bird by Anne Lamott. There she is. Hello. I love this cover. It's very pretty. It has a bird on it. And we'll get to talking about the bird soon. But first, oh, there is a name drop for you right after. There you go. I'm going to watch it in the next sprint. Bird by Anne Lamott is undertitled Some Instructions on Writing in Life. And she's not wrong because there were some instructions on writing and some instructions on life. And Anne Lamott is an American author, a novelist, as they're called, mostly of. Oh, love this.
Hi. How
Hello.
is the audio like in a plane?
No, the audio is crisper than in your house. But are we maybe not on the plane?
Okay, no, you're good. I can't
Oh,
find my stupid.
so crispy, like a nice cake, says Katie. Like a nice Coke. Never mind.
Like
Oop.
noises.
Hello?
Can you hear the car noises?
Not at all.
Okay, that's wonderful. We're gonna do car chat today.
Where are you?
At work, the boss's boss came in today, so they kept us later than they should have. Um,
Boo. Potato, potato. You can be freed from this. I can do this alone, babe. You don't have to be here.
No, but I want to be here. I even finished the book.
You even finished
Also,
the book?
I even finished. Yes, I finished it. I mean, granted, I did finish it about 10 minutes ago, but I finished it.
Cue to me yesterday saying, Grape, remember we have a book chat tomorrow. And you'd be like, remind me again? What's the book? Yes, the hoops are gorgeous. They're very cunty. I do love them. You look like you could
Thanks.
throw hands. And I mean that affectionately.
Thank you. I was in fact on one today, so I wanted to fight everybody.
Ooh. But don't you want to fight generally every day?
You're so right. I do.
And, that's one of the things I love about you, that you're a fighter. Okay.
What I miss?
Not much, an hour and 30 minutes of sprinting and talking and some tarot reading. And Malin dropped a new video, and we all love Malin, which is
Ooh.
what we pretty much summarized. And now I'm
Okay,
talking a little
good.
bit about the author, Anne Lamott. As I said, American novelist and nonfiction writer. She teaches writing at the University of California, something 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 Davis
She,
question mark.
is she
I
still
don't know.
alive?
I think so. I couldn't find an obituary.
I was just wondering.
I did find copious notes of people saying like, "Oh, she used to be an alcoholic and do cocaine." So and she does look like a white woman who does cocaine.
Is her photo in the back? Let me see.
It is not,
Damn.
and it is on the Google though. She, yeah. Oh, she's 70 apparently. Oh, so she learned from Stephen King. Nice, yeah, for sure. But yeah, Anne Lamott, American novelist and nonfiction writer, teacher numerous writing classes. She very somewhere it says that she writes with a self-deprecating humor and openness, and I do feel like that
She
tracks
does. She
based on
does
this book.
that.
Maybe too open. I don't know. There were some times when I'm like, Anne, that's an inside thought.
Yeah, let's rein it in, Anne.
She was, yeah, I don't know. There was some sentences here where I'm like, okay, I know this is published in the 90s, but still.
Hmm.
Um, and there's even a documentary about her, if you want to watch it, Bird by Bird with Anne, a film portrait of writer Anne Lamott by some girly pop who made this in the 90s. And she covers subjects such as alcoholism, single motherhood, depression, and her religion. And she also covers that in this book extensively.
Well, I
Um,
don't think it was super extensive, like not in a preachy way. I
no,
think
not
it
in a
was like
preachy way, but she did
well, kind of
cover it.
subtly. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she has gay priest friends, so she's a cool mom. But you know,
That's one of the parts where I was like, hello, what?
there's a mention. Oh, should I say that aloud on the internet? There's a portion here where she mentions like how everyone in the Special Olympics looks the same, and I'm like, what do you mean?
Yes.
What do you mean? You can't say that out loud.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's another portion at the back where I forget the context, but it was like, yeah, and if you don't like a person, you should make them the villain of your story, and you should give them a small penis, and you should make them racist. And I'm like, Anne, again, inside thoughts.
Also, this wasn't a bad section, the what I'm about to refer to, but I wasn't quite sure how the like relating that part of the writing process to HIV B6 with AIDS,
That was,
how kosher that is.
I don't think it was kosher at all. I think it was
Yeah.
very,
It's like you could have chosen a different something to
again, it's
compare it
written in the
to.
90s. You got to think about that. It's written in the 90s. And also another section where she talks about old people in nursing homes and how disgusting they are. And I'm like,
Which was like
okay.
some with their real teeth, some with like and she said that one lady smelled like urine. I'm like,
Yeah. Anyway, we shouldn't
oh my
make
god.
light. But yeah,
She did it
I
first.
I mean it was very open. I'll give her that. She's not wrong.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a little bit about the author. Not smoked urine, smelled like urine.
Sorry. I need to enunciate better.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, it is what it is, what it is.
What did
But yeah, a lot of these were inside thoughts, I thought, but very open,
Mhm.
very self-deprecating humor in the genre that I kind of vibe with. I did like the tone of the novel. It is very much a memoir slash a writing philosophy. It's more a philosophy than an instruction book.
I agree.
Well, she did say you needed to be honest in your writing. She did, but as the late great one said, so casually cruel in the name of being honest. Yeah. Why the birds though? Why bird by bird? Grape, do you bird? Do you bird by bird?
I don't bird. I do like to watch the birds though occasionally.
You are
Um,
an ornithologist by heart, I think. Is that a bird watcher or is that a dentist? I can
I think
never
that's the
remember.
bird watcher.
Okay.
Orthodontist is the dentist.
Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. But yeah, bird by bird. The reason the book is called Bird by Bird, which is something she tells actually two times in the novel. But at some point in time, her brother was struggling with some schoolwork where he had to read through a bunch of bird books and make a bird project about every bird somewhere.
Hmm.
I forget the details.
I
But
think it
then,
was one of those things where like it was due the next day and he had just started it.
yes, he had 3 months and then waited until the last date. So he played himself. But then their father, so Anne and her brother's father, also a writer and a teacher, question mark. He sat down with his son and he said, "Child, buddy, bird by bird. Just take it bird by bird." And that's what this book is referencing in its title, Bird by Bird.
And I do
It's
love
just like
that.
it is such a good title. I do like Bird by Bird, and I can't stop saying it, Bird by Bird. Um, so that's why the birds, because much like her brother doing his little bird project, your novel is all you have to do is just do it bird by bird, which rhymes with word. I just realized word by word. Um,
Oh, I didn't realize that.
yeah, but yeah, that's how you write a novel, bird by bird. So that's the meaning of the title. I just wanted to talk about that specifically because this isn't as obvious as, you know, how to create characters, 10 easy steps to making the perfect villain. Um,
Yeah.
so that's why the book is called Bird by Bird. It is, I think this is the probably the one that's kind of hardest to do a book talk. That's not the word, but this is the one that's kind of hardest to do a discussion about because it's like so much part memoir, part vibes. I don't know how to describe
Hmm.
it. So the way I thought we could do it, that the audience is learning alongside with Grape right now in this moment, I thought we could. You waving to?
My coworker walked by.
Oh, she does not know you're like live on the internet doing a little
Yeah.
book discussion. The book is divided into multiple parts, so I thought we could just do look at the parts as a whole.
Okay. I
Tally
like
sex
that.
tape. And I've pulled out little like phrases and sentences and things that I gelled with that we could maybe talk about and maybe give our own thoughts about. And then if you have something you want to say, because you've read this in the last 44 hours, nope, 24
Mm-mm.
hours,
20.
um,
Last 12, to be honest.
and you had an entire shift in it. I'm so impressed. You truly can do anything.
Well,
I thought we
God
could just,
bless Audible and 3.5 times speed.
and you even have the physical copy. I love it. A different one, yeah. So I thought we could just do it like part by part, and just I pulled up some points. If you have any pointers you want to talk about, feel free. Oops, I gotta go. Says Mars. Bye bye.
Hi.
Bye. Yeah, and the book is divided into 5 parts. Each part is like a part of the writing process. The first part is just the writing itself. And I've gathered some quotes that I want to talk about and some concepts. And the first one is that actually the opening sentence, I guess, good writing is all about telling the truth. You
Mm.
agree?
No,
Ooh, because one of the big things I see is that writing is lying.
I don't think writing is lying necessarily, but I don't think it's 100% telling the truth. It's telling a truth sometimes, but not 100% of the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But do you think you have to be truthful to write a good story?
No. There are people all the time who like write stories that reflect like identities that they are not, and they end up
I mean,
like,
yes.
being bestsellers.
I guess her point is that good writing is all about telling the truth. So, writing can be untruthful, but good writing have to tell the truth.
What does that mean? What did you interpret that as?
I just thought that good writing has to be like, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Good writing has to have some kind of honesty about it, is the way I see it. Like if you try and fake it, people can tell.
Mm,
It's
I see
kind of
that.
how I interpret that, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
And I think good writing, as she says, tells a truth, but in the form of like, obviously I'm not a space princess trying to,
Hmm.
appease my father's tomb in space doing some intergalactic mission, but I think the character has to be true. You have to believe it.
Yeah.
As
True to
Susan
the
says,
theme, and the theme
I
needs to feel authentic
yeah,
to
as
what's being
Susan
written.
says, I think it holds a truth rather than being the truth.
Yeah, Susan, me too.
Um, Phoebe says, I think it's more important to be interesting than to be honest, but truth lends an
Mm.
authorial weight that buys readers trust.
Also, hi,
Oh,
Phoebe.
also, hi, Phoebe. That absolutely makes sense. And I think that's also something she talks a lot about throughout the novel that, if you're being disingenuine, people can tell.
Hmm.
I think it's to relate it back because we were talking about community before you pulled up in your Sri Lanka,
Uh-huh.
but we were talking about community. And I think a lot of times, especially in the different writing communities that I've been a part of, you can tell when someone comes in to sell their book instead of looking for connection. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Or to grow their AuthorTube channel.
Yeah, that's very much, I think, because I can easily tell. Well, I don't know if I can easily tell, but I always make up my mind if it's the truth or not. I don't know. But like, I can, I always think myself that I can clock people who's like, I'm making YouTube videos because that's what I'm supposed to do instead of I'm making YouTube videos because I want to find a community and because that's what I enjoy doing. Does that make
Hmm.
sense?
Yeah.
And I think it's the same thing with writing. I can tell if someone's writing is disingenuine. How? I don't know. Is this the truth? No, it's my truth. But yeah, I think that's definitely something that she talks a lot about, being truthful. And also think another interesting aspect that she mostly writes nonfiction, so like memoir kind of stuff. She has written a couple of fiction books that I kind of looked through the resumes. Resumes? That's not the word. The blurbs. Um, but a lot of them does seem to pertain to like aspects of her personality.
Hmm.
So like there's some truth in it still.
Yeah. And maybe, that's the method that works for her.
Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I didn't actually read them, but I just scanned through the blurbs. I like to scan through blurbs when I do a book talk because I like to know what the person is up to. Um, Katie says, I agree. I think it's about being honest to yourself and your vision. And sometimes the exploration of writing brings new truths to light that you might not have realized. Oof,
Hmm.
too close to home. That's me in my current book, is just I'm writing a character, and then as I write the character, I realize that I'm putting aspects of myself into this character that I wasn't really thinking out loud,
Yeah. You weren't
if that
trying.
makes sense. I wasn't even trying. I'm like, oh wait, that's me. I'm in danger. Um, so that's very much what I think she means, or what I mean when I say you have to write with a truth. Um, and I think I stand by that. Uh,
We could have different
DW's,
opinions.
yeah, we can have different. We're grown ups. I'm an
Yeah.
adult. Objectively, maybe, but subjectively, there are point of views like unreliable narrators, untruthful, right? There is, and she does talk about this in her writing section, where she says that most readers gravitate towards honest narrators. And of course, you can have an unreliable narrator, but in like 9 out of 10 cases, a reader will connect more to a reliable narrator than an unreliable narrator because people are looking for truth.
Did she
So it's
say
an.
reliable or did she say likable?
I thought she said reliable. Where was this, you ask? I don't know, Grape. I don't know. Let's just look that
Probably
up
under
live.
character. I don't know.
I think it was moral point of view question mark or probably character. Yeah, 42. Not us just fact checking live on main. Let's see.
Someone who has the ebook. Command F.
Oh yeah, not us with our paper novels. Um,
Um, because
Here it says, page
okay.
50, and I quote: Another thing, we want to sense that an important character, like a narrator, is reliable. We want to believe that a character is not playing games or being coy or manipulative, but is telling the truth to the best of his or her ability. Unless a major characteristic of his or hers is coyness or manipulation or lying. We do not wish to be crudely manipulated. Of course, we enter into a work of fiction to be manipulated, but in a pleasurable way. We want to be massaged by a masseur, not whapped by a carpet beater. So she does say
Okay.
to be
To be
careful about
reliable.
it. Yeah. But then
I
also,
think
she does not hold the ultimate truth of writing. Only you know that.
I heard likable when I was listening to it. That's my bad. And the bad of 3.5 times speed. Um and I was like, I don't agree with that. They don't have to be likable, but I can see the argument for saying that a character has to be reliable. Um like with unreliable narrators, you can rely on the fact that they're unreliable. Like they're gonna lie. They're gonna, manipulate. They're gonna fuck shit up. They're reliable to like the character that you've built them to be, their own characteristics.
Hmm. I do like an unreliable narrator in a movie and like a visual media. And I think I don't mind like a dishonest point of view character that's kind of being unreliable to the people around them. But I think between the reader and the character, there has to be like that trust and honesty,
Hmm.
or else, what are we doing here? I don't know. I don't appreciate that myself, but
Hmm. Oh well, I think. Excuse me, a little burp. Okay, I think because sometimes in like mystery thrillers, the narrator doesn't have a lot of the pieces, so they're unreliable in that regard. I think that's like an exception to unreliable narrators for me. Like if the character was purposefully, misdirecting the reader, then I don't think I'd be into that. But if it was like they don't have all the pieces of the puzzle and they're working on a different assumption, then I'm like, okay, you didn't lie to me,
okay. See, I mean, I guess it would be have to be a case by case for me, but I think yeah, if the character themselves believed the truth they were telling me, even though the truth was a lie, I would be fine with it. But if
Yes.
the author is deliberately being disingenuous with the presentation of the material, I'm like, okay, I can't trust you. What am I
Mhm.
doing here?
Yes. Perfectly said. I like that first bit.
Yeah. Knowing she's a this is Katie Ann. Knowing she writes a lot, not Katie Ann about this, but this is Katie Ann about Anne Lamott. Sorry, I just had to clarify. Knowing she writes a lot of memoirs makes this truth statement a lot sense for her. Yesterday I
Mhm.
was watching Roadkill. Nope. Reads with Cindy talk about a memoir and had one problem with it she talked about was the lack of reflection in it. So even if the narration is
Mm.
unreliable in the past and biased to experience, there should be self-reflection to show that they've grown and changed to their advice is sound. Yes, I agree, I think. Um, Last year I compiled a bunch of my flash fiction. It was a bit of a slap in terms of what I learned about myself. To real, Susan,
Mm.
to real. I agree. I think it's about being honest to yourself and your vision, and sometimes the exploration of writing brings new truth to light that you might not have realized. Yep. Sometimes writing is clocking yourself so hard that you're like, damn, I am mentally ill, aren't I? I don't think you need your writing to tell you that. Me and Grape tell you that all the time.
Yeah, daily
Uh,
basis.
yeah. Phoebe says, what about situations where individual point of view characters aren't wholly reliable, but they see through each other, call out each other's narrow viewpoints so that the reader can see the truth, even if the characters can't? Ooh, that's interesting. I think I'd be fine with this. Again, I think if a character believes the lie, I I can believe it too. But if a character is purposefully telling me, the reader, something that isn't true, then I'm like, you know, fuck you too.
I think if the character believes a lie, I can be like, okay, I know it's a lie. I don't believe it, but I'll let you believe it. We can continue on as is.
I love that. Yeah, I would also be fine with this. Um, Truthful versus sincerity, maybe. Yeah, I think that's what
Mhm.
it is. I don't mind being deceived if it's sincere. But if
It's
you're,
not malicious, yeah.
yeah. Uh, so basically, that's my thoughts on good writing is also about telling the truth. And I think the truth can be a lot of different things. It sometimes can even be a lie, but the
Hmm.
character can believe the truth, and that's okay with me.
Yeah.
Ooh, sincerity is a good way of putting it. Sometimes the point of the book is that the character believes a lie and then grows to learn the real truth. That's character growth, baby. Yeah. I'm more talking about, like, for example, if I may, back to your thriller example, if there's
Mhm.
like a case solving and they think they cracked it and they tell you, well, they don't tell you, but you kind of get a glimpse into the mind and they believe this truth that is a lie. I think like that sort of deception I'm cool with, planting seeds in my brain.
Mhm.
Um, but if the character in question knows that they're lying, but thinking another thing so that you will think it. I don't know. It's very convoluted. But I think, yeah, truthful versus sincerity is a good way of putting it. DW, absolutely. And another thing I wanted to talk about that Anne Lamott talks about in the part about writing is perfectionism, because boy, do we all
Oof,
struggle with it.
girl.
And she says that perfectionism is the voice of the oppressor, the enemy of the people. And I'm inclined to believe she's true.
Hmm.
Uh,
I
she
think
talks
she also says at one point like perfectionism ruins writing. And I was like, ooh, that's real.
yeah. Oof, damn, clocked by Anne there, for sure. Definitely something she says a lot is that, she talks a lot about shitty first draft, how every first draft has to be shitty because it can't be good. And if you give yourself the grace and the allowance for it to be shitty, you can make it into something good.
Hmm.
And I think definitely because I know I struggle with this, and I know you struggle with this, and I know Katie struggled with this, and I know Malin struggled with this, and I know every writer under the sun struggles with this. Like,
Hmm.
ooh, you
And
don't have
under
to
the
be
moon.
perfect, but I can do a perfect draft. I'm different, but you don't have to worry about this. It is, and a perfect first draft is impossible, great for you, but I can do it.
It's like
Um,
kind of like do as I say, not as I do. Believe what
Very
I
much,
say, but I don't believe
yeah,
myself.
very much that. She talks later about a radio station, like a metaphorical radio station that we'll get into later down the line. But it's kind of the same thing where, like, I know one thing to be true, but then tell myself a lie, basically, because I'm not being truthful in my writing. Um, but that's very much something she talks about. Perfectionism is the voice of the oppressor, and nothing good comes out of it. And she also talks about, and I guess this is back to the truth telling of it all. But she says that if you knowingly, because she talks about how characters should exist to, oh, how does she put it? She says that plot grows from the characters and characters shouldn't grow from the plot. And
Uh-huh.
that if you fake it, like if you make characters be, if you
Oh, if you're
make,
trying to force the characters into a plot that doesn't
yeah,
make
if you
sense
make
for
the
them.
characters lie basically to move the plot forward, the reader can
Hmm.
clock it. And I
Yeah,
think
she's
that
so
goes
right.
in the same vein as like the perfectionism. Um, Ooh, podcast metaphor update. What?
Oh, to update the book from radio station to podcast.
Oh, yeah. Um, a radio station, how very 90s. Yeah, this book was definitely written in the 90s, as we discussed earlier. She's not of our time. But when you're a 70-year-old lady,
That's
I
fine.
guess you can do whatever you want. But she does talk about the truth and the perfection and how it is impossible. And I think that is something that I needed to hear because I always
Oh my god, this
strive.
book is 2 years older than me. This book is as old as Wallace. Sorry.
Dang, not you clocking Wallace Live on Main. Age reveal.
Hey, she says she loves being in her 30s.
It is truly the best age. But yeah, she says that perfectionism will ruin your writing, blocking inventiveness and playfulness and life force.
Mm-hmm.
And perfectionism means that you are try desperately not to leave so much mess to clean up. But clutter and mess show us that life is being lived. So basically, like a messy draft is the clutter of life, and that's a good thing, is how she was phrasing it. Um, Katie says, yeah, I think truth is so imperfect. So to write truthfully, we can't write perfectly either. Writing has to be messy because life is messy and truth is messy. Intersectionality. Katie, these are
Mm-hmm.
words you need to tell yourself, not me and Grape. What do you mean?
Yeah, I love that. Very,
Uh,
very well said, Katie.
yeah, very eloquent. I like it. I also think of unreliable narrators as narrators who are lying to themselves. Very much. Hey, maybe if I read it out, I'll internalize it. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, unreliable narrators as narrators who lying to themselves. That's what I'm saying. I'm fine with this type of unreliable narrator, but an unreliable narrator who purposefully deceives the reader, I don't know. I can't think of any story examples right now, but I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any that do that.
I can only think of like Shutter Island and stuff like that. But again, that's movies, and you know my take on movie examples in writing. Um,
Don't wait.
the,
What's your take?
that too many craft books have movie examples in the writing book.
Oh,
DW says exactly. I prefer sincerity, but I don't mind an untruthful character. They can be fun, much different than untruthful author, though. Yes, very much that. Very much that. Um, and then another thing that I thought was so cute was kind of the ending of her part on writing is how do you know when your book is done? Grape, how do you know when your book is done?
you don't.
Okay. I loved how Anne Lamott phrased it because she also says that. Actually, one of the things I love about this is like she's very much like, oh, I have no clue what I'm doing, but these are things that help me. And
Mm-hmm.
here goes.
Yeah, this is my journey. That's my
Yeah,
life. I hope you enjoy. I know
because
I
I
did.
know I did. Oh God, I knew because my editor told me. And even then, I did like 4 more passes of light editing. Lol. Anne Lamott says that you know your story is done when it feels like putting an octopus to bed.
Oh yes.
And you might ask, Steve, Anne, Grape, what do you mean by that? And let me tell you, when you try to put an octopus to bed, like the first time you try to put an octopus to bed, it's like that's the first time your novel is done. That's your first draft done. It's the first time you're trying to put an octopus to bed. And then one of the little tentacles slithers out, and you're like, no, no, you have to get under the covers too. And then you tuck that away. And then you tuck the next one away until eventually the octopus is in the bed. And that's when you know that the book is done, is that, you've tucked all the tentacles away under the covers, and there's nothing more for you to do now.
I interpret it as like you kind of have to give up putting the octopus to bed kind of thing. Like the draft will never be done to perfection because there's always going to be a tentacle that pops out.
Oh, that's an interesting. I can see that interpretation too. I interpret it as like, you're done when all the tentacles are on the covers. And it's not going to stay under the covers necessarily, but that's when you know it's done. That's when someone else has to help you. Um, Once you've like tucked all the tentacles underneath. Um, okay, please tell me, what does it mean? What does it mean? Yes, thank you.
What
Tell
does
me.
it mean?
Wait, this metaphor is so cute, actually. It was very cute. I did read it and was like, you know what? It makes no sense, but it makes perfect sense. So that's definitely. Oh, so it's herding cats. Basically, yeah. You know
Mm-hmm.
your book is done when you're herding cats. Um, and that's like the major things she talked about in the writing section. Anything else you want to talk about?
Let me go into the memory banks. I wrote some notes down, but they're in Notion, and I can't pull them up without closing out StreamYard. So sorry. This is like straight off the dome. Apart from the first part that I liked was the plot treatment part, where
Ooh,
where
yes.
she, her editor was like, "You gotta start over, bitch."
Yeah.
And
Love
she
the
wrote
characters, but what the fuck is going on?
she wrote the plot treatment being like everything, every minute detail, everything that you think but don't put on the page for each like chapter of the book or scene of the book or whatever. So I like that part. I think I'm gonna
Have you
reread that,
watched
like how she did it, and then I'm gonna try to do it for
have you
myself.
watched Little Women?
No.
There's a scene in Little Women where one of the main characters, who's a writer, has her entire novel sprawled on like the attic floor, and she's like
Hmm.
frantically working through it. And that's very much what I got from the plot treatment section. It's like Anne Lamott on the floor on all fours, scattering notes throughout her entire novel, trying to come up with a
Drunk.
plot. Drunk, high on cocaine, probably. I don't know. Hating old people as she does. Yep, high on
Hmm.
coke. I also there's she talks a little bit, tiny bit about short story, and she has like a formula for it, which is ABDCE, action, background, development, climax, ending, and I thought that was fun.
Hmm. I like
She
that
also
little thing too.
yeah she also has a little section on dialogue on how to improve it. First, sound it out. Second, you should be able to identify each by the way they say things, like each character. And then third, you should try to put two people who doesn't want to be in a room together, and that's how you do it. Um, Yeah. And then there was the false start chapter, which was the one about the old people, and it was like, okay, girl, this is the coke talking.
Not this
Ooh,
is the Coke talking. I'm sorry. That was
that's
hilarious.
where I'm at, the dialogue chapter. Okay, so there you go. And I think that's what I have to say about the writing part.
I think. Oh, also, a part that I found interesting slash helpful was the set design part. I like that section.
Ooh, yes. Um, about like the backgrounds and the actual physicality of the rooms and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice. I thought it was like it's a lot of memoirs and there's a lot of vibes, but I still felt like I was left with something after each chapter. Sometimes confusions, but oftentimes I was like, okay, that's a good thing. That's a good way of doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. I lost it. I'm trying to find it again. Anyways, you can move on.
Um, this is the coke talking, says Katie. Me at 3 a.m. when I'm trying to write and think I'm killing it.
The Coca-Cola.
Yes, about to say on your seventh Coca-Cola for the day, on your third cup of coffee. Um, but yeah, I think that's what I have on writing. If you can pick up the scene thing and circle back to it, you're more than welcome. Grape.
Okay.
Uh, I think we're going to cover one more part before we go into. Actually, should we just go through it all so you can get home?
We can cover one more part. The reason I didn't go straight home was because I was very tired. I was exhausted, so I felt like it wasn't safe to drive. But I'm
Oh,
starting to pick up.
safe to stream.
Yeah, safe to stream, but not to drive.
Okay, but we can do all the parts so you can go home after. The people have already had 2 sprints, so they're fed.
You are ready? Yeah, we can do whatever.
Um, part two is what she calls to the writing frame of mind, where she basically talks about not so much the bolts and nuts of the writing process, like characters, plot, pacing, whatever, but she talks more about the process itself. Um, so like how to get in the writer state of mind, I guess. And she does go through it in the first part, actually. She has like a little routine, like I think it's just basic stuff like write at the same time every day, uh, set a word count, blah blah blah. Do a little panic, get a lobotomy. I forget what the quote was, but I did chuckle a bit. Um,
Yeah.
oh, we're getting into the this bit, yeah. But yeah, I think one of the things she says is I don't think actually I know this for a fact because I wrote it down earlier today. But one of the things she says is that writing is about learning to pay attention and to communicate what's going on. And I think
I
as someone
agree.
who's writing a police report, as you know, I think this very much held a little truth for me. I was holding space for this, basically. Um,
At one point, oh, that's a B, and it's really big. Sorry. At one point, she says something about holding space, and I chuckled.
yeah, she was 20 years ahead of her time, for sure, for sure. But yeah, she says that writing is about learning to pay attention and to communicate what's going on. And one of the things I loved is how she said that you should tell a story, not a message.
Yeah.
And that if you have a message, send a telegram. Uh, and that's not to say that a story shouldn't have a message, but you should tell the story and then the reader should deduce the message, basically.
Yeah.
Uh,
Basically, don't preach at people. Whatever
yeah.
you believe, we don't want to hear it.
Yes, because she's like, tell a story, not a message. That doesn't mean your story can't have a message, but you shouldn't tell a message and then tell a story. Um, so that's something that I also kind of liked because I did read some comments online before I read this book that some people found it very preachy, but I don't think it was very
Really?
preachy.
I found it very anecdotal, like maybe a little too anecdotal.
You wanted more cold hard facts?
I wanted more, yeah, not cold hard facts, but more process stuff. Like, but I feel like that with every craft memoir kind of thing. Like, maybe I just need to read a textbook.
Because this is the first craft memoir I've read. Um,
On writing was like a craft memoir, so
I mean, fair. Also,
like
cocaine.
also cocaine.
Maybe that's the secret to being a good writer. Just do lines upon lines.
I don't think that's true, love.
Okay, don't do cocaine. Public service announcement.
Okay, I found the part on set design that I thought was
Oh,
interesting slash funny slash insightful. Okay, so she's talking about how in her book she is writing like something about a garden, and in real life she kills plants, every plant she's ever had. But she had someone outside like inform her about like what would be planted at this time in the season, like what stage the plant would be at, like to get all the continuity of something she wasn't familiar with. And she also said that she got into the habit of calling that person, like even past the initial, him helping her with the description of the garden. She called him to check on what stage would her plants be, or like would her trees be growing fruit, or like, things like that. I thought that was interesting as a, I don't know, as a something for writing. And writing, you need to like keep up with your set pieces too. Like your set pieces need to be updated the same way the characters need to go through an arc, you know?
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, I have the same thing in my current book where I spend a lot of time outdoors in the mountains. I'm like, I don't know what trees there would be in this mountain. I don't know what rocks there are made of, but in my story, they're red. Don't know if that's true to life. So that's definitely something I have to figure out in the next draft. It's like, okay, what do rocks actually look like in this area? Is there red rock?
They
Would
are.
there be like, would they be on fire with the blazing sun of the dawn or whatever? Um, so that's something I have to figure out. And kind of in the same vein, like I have to grow my garden and
Mhm.
I have to grow my mountains.
Yeah.
Katie says, "Ooh, that feels so poignant to me right now. My previous draft of book two didn't communicate what it needed to. It didn't have a message. I wasn't paying attention, so I couldn't get into it.
Mm-hmm.
The environment experiences time.
Yes,
Uh,
thank you. Ugh, Susan, girl, you're in my head.
there are red rocks in Colorado. There is, but is there red rocks in this very narrow, specific region that I've set my story? Who knows, Susan? Who knows? I sure don't. Um, I think it also reiterates to keep in touch with your community throughout the writing process and
Mhm.
to get help throughout the draft. I don't know if that's actually what she's saying, but that feels correct. That is something she says later on, though, about the community aspect. So we'll touch back on that. But definitely, yeah, keep in touch with the community and don't just come in to sell your book and then disappear for 3 months.
Or, try to get everyone on your AuthorTube scam,
Yeah,
your AuthorTube MLM.
but only if you have 7,000 subscribers or more, or whatever it was. Forget. And then another thing she talks about is in order to be a good writer, you not only have to write a great deal, which was devastating for me to learn, uh, but you also have to care, which is something I kind of relate to because I can only write stories I care about. And as
Hmm.
soon as I don't care anymore, the story is dead to me. And I think that's kind of why a lot of my previous projects have dwindled,
Hmm.
as they would say. It's because she talks about finding the center of truth in your story and that you should care about it. And I think that's kind of one of the things I've struggled with in my writing process is that I am one of those students she talks about that comes into her class wanting to have published and not necessarily
Hmm.
wanting to have written a book.
Yeah.
Uh, and I find myself slowly kind of moving away from wanting to be published to wanting to write a book.
You're getting your
Um,
broccoli back.
I'm getting my broccoli back, baby, and that's something we're going to talk about. Is she uses the broccoli? What's the quote? Listen to your broccoli, and it will tell you how to eat it, or whatever she calls it. Which is basically you should find something in your life, if it's a broccoli, if it's an animal, if it's just a voice in your head, that's just telling you, you can do it,
Yeah, it's like a
basically.
metaphor for your intuition. And yeah.
Yeah, very much that. And make sure that your intuition is actually your intuition and not your inner saboteur, basically.
Mhm.
And that you should listen to your intuition, you should listen to your broccoli, you should listen to whatever the voice in your gut is. Wow, she really was on coke, says Katie. Oof, my broccoli has shriveled up and died. I do need the tips on how to necromancer back to life. Just make sure that it was your broccoli who died and not your inner saboteur, because those two are different things. And we will soon talk about
I
what that
think my
can look like.
broccoli is still at the market.
Oh, I think my broccoli is you guys. Is that
Oh,
too much?
no.
Not to get all
No.
mushy, but I think you guys are my broccoli, um, both in internal and external. So
Yeah.
sadly, my inner saboteur is thriving. Then I have the right radio station for you, Katie, and that's radio station K fucked.
Okay,
Uh,
fucked.
that's what she said it meant. Phoebe says, my inner voice is that clip of Steve Carell from The Office going, oh God, no, no, or whatever the lines are. Oh my God, that was so lovely. I'm going to cry. It is the truth. But yeah, she talks about radio station KFKD, K-fucked. And that is basically a metaphor for, um, I don't know, the critical voice in your head, I guess. She talks
Yeah.
about it as a concept of like, where you have two speakers, one in each ear. One of the speakers is like your broccoli, it's your troublemakers, it's your Steve Carell's, going,
Hmm.
you're amazing, sweetie. You can do it. I'm so proud of you. You lost your diamond earring, whatever. And then the other one is your inner critic or your inner saboteur, kind of nagging at you. And the first part, Katie, of getting rid of this is to acknowledge its existence and to kind of recognize that it's there. And I think in recognizing it, you know, you first have to just notice that the station is on, basically. Eyeball emoji. Oh no. Damn it. I like to sweep it under the rug. There was something that made me chuckle because I'm an old millennial mom, so get on my casket. But she has a line that says, the best way to get quiet, other than therapy, Prozac, or a lobotomy, is to first notice
Hmm.
that the station is on. And then you just have to kind of close your eyes and tune out both your broccoli and your inner saboteur. She used her mom as an example, which I thought was very telling of her truth. But
What do you mean, very telling of her truth?
like, maybe she didn't have the best relationship with her mother.
Okay.
So just tune out both the good things and the bad things and just write. That's her secret.
Hmm.
And just show up every day. And, if you've earnestly, truthfully worked in good faith for a few hours and it's still quiet, then have lunch, basically. Which I love as an advice. Like if you sat down and actually legit tried, don't beat yourself up.
Yeah. I think this wasn't in this section, but at some point she says writing is like hypnotizing yourself and then unhypnotizing yourself afterward to like edit. And I was like, oh, that's so real.
That's not my process, but I love this for you.
Wow. Oh wait, it says writing is about hypnotizing yourself into believing in yourself. Yeah.
There you
Get
go.
some work done and then unhypnotize yourself and then go over the material coldly.
All you have to do is lie to yourself. Oh,
Hypnotize.
oh, wait, is Anne Lamott me? Because I feel like I said that. Therapy, Prozac, or lobotomy. So me coded. And you are an old millennial mom, after all. Um, the DW says, that's interesting, Grape. Almost like characters have arcs. The series of settings in books can too. Choosing the right scenes to help tell the best story journey. Yeah. I'm 7K subscribers. I feel like I missed something, says Phoebe. At some point last year, question mark, someone jumped into the Troublemaker Discord and was like, I'm looking for people to join me streaming or something to follow my program. I forget what it was, but you gotta have
Yeah.
2,000 subscribers minimum, or else you're not welcome. Needless to
I
say, they
don't
were
know
roasted and left.
if they were trying to do like a author tube collab kind of situation or like a follow train or something, but they specified only people with over 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, it was the whole thing.
It
Um,
was a thing.
yeah. Uh, and then one thing I want to talk about that I think we do really well. Well, I do really well.
Which is,
But Lamar talks about how, you know, the loudest voice on radio station K-Fucked is jealousy. And I think in our community,
mm-hmm.
it's very easy to, become jealous over zealous. Uh, and I think we handle that really well. Well, I think I handle that really well.
I think I do too. I wasn't relating to much of her anecdotes in that. Like when she talked
Me,
about, yeah, being jealous of her friend.
but also her friend sounds kind of like a bitch, though. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, she did sound a little
Um,
bitchy.
but I'm just every time something good happens to my friend, I'm genuinely super, super excited for them, and it's never a moment where I'm like, oh, I wish that was me.
Oh, this is where she makes the AIDS metaphor. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it wasn't our best work. I'll tell. It was rough.
Yeah.
I guess I'm going into hypnotics. Oh, they wanted to make a little book club and they'd like collab to make followers thingy. Yeah, something like
Hmm.
that. I forget. But yeah, that's radio station K-Fucked. It's your critic and your broccoli talking to each other in your ears. And the first step is to acknowledge that it exists, and the second step is to just tune it out so you can be truthful in your writing. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I think jealousy is easy to beat down for me. Even if I feel it, I can get rid of me by being grateful for what I have. Also, I'm too into my own problems to be jealous of other people. Yeah, that's real. That's very real. Um, part three of the book is called Help Along the Way, in which she
Hmm.
talks about, what are some things, some tips and tricks you can do to get into the writing process. And she talks about taking notes
Yeah.
extensively. She used note cards, and I'm like, okay, this book
Index
was written in the
cards.
90s. Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, I fold the index card long ways and put it in my pocket with my pen. And I'm like, oh, girl, open the notes
What
app,
happened?
please.
What happened to Google Keeps? She talks about making calls to experts if you have any questions. Are you okay?
Make sure these are closed. Oh, that one was open. It was a wasp. Multiple wasps. Okay, I'll try to ignore it. So sorry.
She talks about making calls to experts if you have any questions, which I thought was so funny. Just Google
Hmm.
it today. Just Google it. You don't have to call a wine expert 20
I
times
mean,
to get the name of a court.
nowadays, Google is like pushing the AI thing to the front and it's wrong. So,
That is true. That is true. I think for preliminary research, Google is fine, but if you want to get like an expert in something, you can call someone, maybe.
yeah. Yeah. Depending on, like, how deep this thing needs to be
Yeah.
portrayed.
Lexa said, I went to a high school for young writers and we wrote so much that it was really difficult to get to writing afterwards. And that was 5 years ago. And now I'm writing my fifth book, first draft, and finally feel like it's good enough. I'm so
Oh,
happy for you, Lexis.
I'm sorry it took so long, but I'm happy that you're here now.
I hope you're happy now that you're choosing this. Um, the wasp want the writing tips, says Katie. Lol, I did write in the Go on my Notion app. Imagine if I had to get out a physical card in the 90s were wild. She was full like, I'll be walking my dogs in the middle of a marsh and I'll pull up my note card and my pen and I'll scribble down my IDs. And I'm like, girl, use your phone. We didn't have cell phones in the olden days, 90s kiddies. I know. I am born in 1988, so I was there when the Deep Magic was written. Um, and we didn't actually have a family computer until after I left for high school, question mark.
Mm.
So maybe email DM or like, I don't know, read a book on the subject. That's true. A writer, Abby Jimmins, talked on TikTok this week about how she writes all her first drafts on her phone in Google Docs. That's criminal.
I think, well, I feel like that'd be a good way to like take the pressure off of it. I like that. Would I try it? No. But you know what? Maybe I
Keeping
should.
all your writing in one document, don't be silly, Grape.
No, it's the Google Docs of it all. I hate Google Docs.
Oh. She also talks about writing groups, the importance of finding writing groups, critique partners, and she also talks about a little tip if you're stuck, write letters to people you know about your book. And I
Hmm.
thought it was very cute.
Yeah.
And then she talks about writer's block and how to crack it open. And it's like we all know, it's just rest, exercise, read, refill your creative well.
Fill the well.
Yeah. Takes the pressure off, means you don't need a laptop or a fancy setup, and like you can write it from anywhere at any time.
Yeah.
I graduated high school in the 90s. I always have a notebook planner with me too. Um, Madeline only half joking. Born in 91, I actually do carry a notebook with me everywhere just in case. Phones can fail me, paper can't unless it rains, so it can. Um, yeah, I couldn't do that much typing on my phone.
I don't think I
Um,
carry any notebooks with me.
yeah. Oh my God, not me literally writing letters to V.E. Schwab in my deepest throes of writing agony. I fear I am Anne Lamott.
No, you're not an alcoholic.
Well, neither is she anymore. Um, but yeah, that's one of the things she talks about in getting help along the way, and also how to fix writer's block, refill the creative well, do a bunch of reading, watch a show. She talked about going to the movies. That's how I knew she was old.
Well, I go to the movies.
I don't know. I feel like that's a very 90s thing to do.
Hmm.
You might as well be going to the mall. But yeah, uh, and then we're gonna dip into the last reel, I guess, um, part, which was part four, where she talked about publication and other reasons to write. This one was probably the one I related least to. I don't know if it's because just I haven't reached this part of the process yet, so maybe people who've reached this part of the process can chime in. Um, um, but I thought the opening statement was kind of not funny, but she says that publication is not going to change your life or solve all your problems. And that felt very, I don't know, directed,
You felt targeted?
not targeted, but only because I said initially that I, you know, the reason I write is because one of my bucket list items is to publish a book kind of situation,
Yeah.
and not necessarily because I want to write a book. Does that make sense? Or tell a story rather.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, publication is not going to change your life or solve all your problems, and that's something she also said in the beginning, in the introduction when she first got a publishing deal. Um, I forget what it was. Here you go. And I, not gonna lie, Katie, I thought a little bit about you when I read
Oh my
this.
God, me too.
Okay, not as about to clock Katie live on main. Uh, I believed before I sold my first book that publication would be instantly and automatically gratifying, an affirming and romantic experience, a Hallmark commercial where one runs and leaps in slow motion across a meadow filled with wildflowers into the arms of acclaim and self esteem. This did not happen for me. The months before a book come out is the months before a book comes out of the chute are, for most writers, right up there with the worst life has to offer. Pretty much like the first 20 minutes of Apocalypse Now, with Martin Sheen in the motel room in Saigon, totally decompensating. The waiting and the fantasies, both happy and grin, wear you down. Plus, there is the matter of the early reviews that come out 1 or 2 months before publication. The first two notices I got on this tenor book I'd written about my dying, now dead father, said that my book was a total waste of time, a boring, sentimental, self indulgent sack of spider puke. This is not verbatim. And that
Very
made me
much
think about you.
verbatim. Yeah.
Yeah, that made me think of you, Kitty. Oh no, one of the pages came loose. RIP.
Oh no, rip. The part that made me think of Katie was, oh, this part, hold on. She says, after a couple months, the publisher will send you the like bound galleys or whatever. And she's like, at that point, is when I feel like the best because now I know that they can't back out of publication.
That is very real. Um, I go do the. Oh, never mind. There you go, Wendy. Also, I just finished doing my April finance tracker on Notion since I got paid today while we're chatting here. Very proud. I love it.
Oh, wonderful.
Um, hey, I love going to the movies. You take that back. The cinema is the backbone of my personality. I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel like that is true. Um, Sometimes writing by hand unlocks different parts of the brain, so I do keep a notebook. Um, Publication won't solve my problems, but writing does help a lot with my anxiety, so it's still a win. And that's what she says. You should write a book because you want to tell a story and write, but you shouldn't write a book because you want to be a published author.
Yeah.
Oh God, don't perceive me. Oh my God, I'm so clocked. I
You're
need to lie
being
down.
perceived, sweetie.
Oh yeah, that's so true. When you clear one bar, there's always another. Yeah, and especially with trad pub, there's so many hoops. Ooh, I hope you're nimble.
Ugh.
Although this feels a bit like the money doesn't make happiness, which is bull. Money at the very least helps a fuck ton with happiness. Publication would maybe not solve everything, but it'd help a lot. Honestly, nope, that's an inside thought. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah, I love to go to the cinema too because in there I have a way of pushing the real world away the best. I do like the cinema too, but I like the act of having seen the movie more than I actually like seeing it in public.
I like,
Um,
yeah, no, we can move on.
no, what do you like? Big butts? And you cannot lie?
I was gonna say I like being in the dark in movie theaters. It's like
That sounds
the
salacious. Not gonna
movie doesn't
lie.
even need to be playing. Just put me in the dark.
And Lamott, I'm in your walls clawing at them. How did she just clock me so hard? I'm gonna die. I think this is just a universal writer experience. I'm
Mhm.
sorry, Katie.
Yeah,
Um, wait, now I want to know what was the inside thought, and it's as bad as Anne's inside thoughts. I'll start now calling them cocaine thoughts from now. I think that's funny.
I think that's hilarious. I'm gonna do the same.
Yeah. And my cocaine thought, shall I share it? It's very tame
Okay.
and it's very fleeting. I think it has escaped my mind. What was I thinking about?
Movie
Ye-
theater? No,
no,
I don't
I
know.
think I would think about publication. Yeah, Malin said it's the same as like money doesn't make happiness, but it solves a lot of problems because
Hmm.
you don't have to worry about money. I think, if anything, being published just creates problems. I don't know.
Hmm.
Not
Interesting.
problems, not problems, not problems. That's not the right term. Um, I think it is,
Complications?
as Susan says, it's just another bar you have to go through. It's like you can never win at publishing.
Yeah, I see that. Because no book is gonna be adored by every single person in the universe. You're gonna have critics. That creates another bar for you, like maybe mentally.
Yeah. Kitty says, "Why can I not be like other girls? I don't want to feel these things." At the theater, it's a lot harder for people to interrupt me. I feel so small and non-corporal in a movie theater, so
Hmm.
absorbed into the story that I'm not myself. I love it. There's always someone doing more, doing better, another goal for you to strive for. The
Hmm.
work is never done, basically. Yeah, it's like nursing. It's never done. It's just a 24-hour continuous process, and when you're done with your shift, someone else has to take over, basically. Um, did I miss any comments? I don't think so. Uh, and yeah, there's. I didn't make a banner for chapter 5, basically part 5, because I thought it was kind of redundant. But there's a part 5, which is the last class.
Hmm.
So basically, this is what Anne Lamott tells her people in their last class.
Yeah.
And there's a little excerpt that I want to read that I actually marked in my book. Let's see. And it's about the importance of writing. And I thought that was kind of like, this book was published in when? In when? What is English? Um,
94.
this book was published in 1994. And just like the the truth in this paragraph still today, writing. Um, she talks about, um, what she tells her class on the last day. And one of the things she want to tell them is the society to which we belong seems to be dying or is already dead. I don't mean to sound dramatic, but clearly the dark side is rising.
Hmm.
Things could not have been more odd and frightening in the Middle Ages. But the tradition of the artists will continue no matter what form the society takes. And this is another reason to write. People need us, to mirror for them and for each other without distortion. Not to look around and say, look at yourselves, you idiots, but to say, this is who we are. And I thought that was beautiful.
That was beautiful.
And I thought it was very like, this book is 30 years old, but this paragraph could have been written today.
Hmm.
And I think that's the power of writing.
That's the power of pine sol, baby.
That's the power of cocaine.
I think closer to the end, she talks about how like being a writer changes how you read. And I like that part too.
Yes. Um, becoming a, and I quote,
I like
becoming a writer can also profoundly change your life as a reader. One reads with a deeper appreciation and concentration, knowing now how hard writing is, especially how hard it is to make it look effortless. You begin to read with a writer's eye. You focus in a new way. And I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. Also,
Uh,
at some point, I don't know if it was in this chapter or one of the earlier ones, she was talking about how essentially two people can have the same concept and create wildly different um stories from it, kind of also relating back to before her dad died, and they were both writing about that experience and how different their books were.
and I think this also goes back to sort of the thing she talks about truth in the beginning, where she's like, your most important job as a writer is to tell the truth, no matter what the truth is. And I think, having one situation from two perspectives, they're
Hmm.
both true, but the truth of the person writing it. And I think that's some things like, and I think that's one of the things that is kind of beautiful with writing as an art form is it tells you just as much about the writer as it tells you about the story that the writer is presenting.
Yeah, that's why I think it's interesting, like when two people have the same concept and they write different things, because it's like, why was your brain going in this direction?
Because
Or
of
like
the
on the other
truth.
hand, I see why your brain was going in this direction. Like you can kind of match it to their personality, or like what you know about them, kind of.
I like that. Um, Malin says, agreed, but if the goal is to be published for your own personal satisfaction, it's easier than if it is to compete with how others are doing. But what I'm saying is, I don't have an issue with that. I think having goals is healthy. Wanting something is healthy. And I don't like how society tells us constantly, you shouldn't want that. It is very struggling artist bullshit.
I'm sorry,
Uh,
I'm missing some context. Is this about publishing to publish?
ooh. I don't know, Malin. Call in. Even if you're not competing, there's likely something else you're trying for, even if it's just writing the next book. I don't know. I could just be missing the point, which would be fair. Um, Malin says, I dream of getting trad pubbed one day. I dream of having a book made into a movie. There's nothing wrong with going after what I want and nothing wrong with aspiration. Oh, this is about wanting publication. I see what you're saying. And
Mm.
I think one of her points is that,
That's publication, and those things shouldn't be your only motivator to write.
yes, I think that's one of her things. She talks to students because only so many of like aspiring writers will actually like finish a book, sell a book,
Hmm.
make a movie deal. And I think it's all right to dream and then also all right to have goals. And I think some goals are more healthier than others.
Sure.
Unfortunately, with TradPub, there is kind of competition because there is so little space and so little money exposure, etc., which is different than loving writing and wanting to be a writer.
Hmm.
Oh my God, I just noticed Grape's name on our screen. Yeah, late fry. Iconic. And she loves to do iconic shit. Katie says, that's so beautiful and still so poignant with the things happening today and so important now, especially with the rise of AI and so many disingenuine people and book banning.
Hmm.
Yes. Um, I think that concludes this segment of the stream, question mark. Do you have any closing thoughts you want to share with the class?
Any closing thoughts about Bird by Bird
I'm going
by
to get
Anne
into the
Lamott?
review questions after this. So
Review questions?
the way I ask 3 questions at the end of my streams.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant there were like review questions in the book. Okay.
Actually, Grape, it's time for a pop quiz.
There's homework? No one told me.
Malin asks, but like, why? Why wouldn't that be healthier? When people write scripts, it's not for it to go die. It is for to be used in a movie. I agree. I'm not saying that you shouldn't write to be published. I'm I'm not saying you shouldn't dream or want to be published. I'm just saying that I don't think that's the right motivation for me to write. Because I've
Yeah.
tried that and it didn't work for me. And there's nothing wrong about writing a script for it to be a movie. Um, but I think inherently I want to write to. What am I trying to say? I don't even know, Malin. I do agree with you. I don't write just for me. I write because I want to be read by others, and the best way to do that is being published. Yes. I'm not saying you shouldn't want to be published and you shouldn't want to dream about having a movie deal. I'm just saying that having goals that you have no control over, that's not really my vibe. I'm not saying you shouldn't have those goals. I'm saying I don't want those goals. Because I can't control if my book is being made into a movie. I can't control if my book is being trad pubbed. Um, which is one of the reasons why I think I want to indie pub because I want control, and also secretly because I don't think I'm good enough to be trad pub. But let's not go into that right now.
Okay,
Um,
we can go with that later, though.
Becca says in film school it was more like don't write a script to win an Oscar, write a script because you want to make a movie. So maybe she means something like that.
Yeah.
I think definitely that's something to think about and to consider as yeah. As Katie says, there's nuance and intersectionality with writing for yourself and writing to be published. I think writing because you love it will help you weather the times when publishing is so difficult. Absolutely. Yeah, I think it's that. If the only reason you write is to be published and not because you also love writing, you probably won't keep going. I think that's what I'm trying to say,
Also,
Wendy.
there's more emotion in books that are written for not just publication, but for, the author processing whatever they're processing that makes for better writing. And if you're just writing to publish, your writing probably is going to be stilted.
I think I think two things can be true at once. You can write to publish, but you can also write to process something. And those two goals can coincide, coexist. I think that's the word I'm
Mhm.
looking for. Because being published is a dream of mine, but like you said, Malin, writing helps with my mental health, so it can be both. Sorry, I can't be as verbose in the comments. So sorry if I misunderstand. Um, I think I'm struggling with book two specifically because this is the first book that must be written and must be published. So it's a struggle to write it for myself right now.
Mhm.
I enjoy writing, but I write with goals in mind, if that makes sense. That makes absolutely perfect sense. And I think I'm the same way myself. And I think two goals that can be in my mind is like A, I want to process something, and B, I want people to read this. And there's nothing wrong with it. And I think absolutely there's something to aspire towards.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Any closing thoughts?
No closing thoughts from me.
Okay, then grapple. Who is this book for?
What is this book for? Honestly, nobody.
Oh, dang.
No, I didn't mean it like that. I think it's for everybody. It's for everybody. Because it's not very prescriptive and it's just a lot of anecdotes and such. I think you can get something from it no matter what kind of writer you are, too.
I think that's valid. Who do I think this book is for? I think this book is for people who enjoy writing advice mixed in with anecdotes and not so much prescriptive writing advice.
Hmm. Yeah,
Um,
it's for people who enjoy the kind of like quippy, snarky voice of writing.
Definitely. And some
Snarky.
cocaine thoughts. Kitty Ann says, yeah, I also think there's a slight difference between writing to be published for money and acclaim and writing so that others see you and also relate to your experience. I
Hmm.
think as all art forms, writing is a desire to be seen. And I think that's beautiful. Um, I've heard this book is for me. Oop. Susan says, I think there's writing to tell yourself a story and there's writing to tell others a story. You can write a story that does both. Absolutely.
Hmm.
Well put, well put.
Very well.
Um, do you see yourself using this as in your own process? Did you gain any tips that you think you'll be implementing in your process, Madame?
Yes, I think I'm gonna try the plot treatment thing.
Ooh, I was thinking about that too. I was like, I can
Yeah.
do this. So definitely something. I also think her kind of how do you sit down and actually write section where she's like, pick a time of day, have a little ritual, blah blah blah. I think I'm gonna for realsies try that too. Um, yeah.
I
Roll a
should try
die.
that,
Oop.
but I don't want to.
That is very, very fair and very you coded.
Oh, sorry.
Uh,
Also, early in the book, she was talking about like focus on like just to start one sentence, one, you
oh,
know,
I love that. Or what did she call it?
mm,
I did take extensive notes of this.
the
Blah,
Polaroid
blah, blah,
thing.
blah.
Is that where it was in?
Something about window question mark.
Yes. Yeah. So just start, with the small scene, this small character moment, small emotion, and then if you keep writing, it will the full picture will emerge for you. Everything outside of the window or the Polaroid, whatever it
Yeah.
was.
I'm trying to see if I noted it down. I didn't, but I did like that. Oh yeah. Pick a 1-inch piece of their story to tell. One small scene, one memory, one exchange.
Yes, the 1-inch picture frame is what it was.
Yeah. Oh my God, are we being held accountable tomorrow? I am afraid you are. And it's quarterly. It's a quarter quells.
Um, I will
Um,
not
you,
be
you,
held responsible. I will not be held accountable tomorrow. Because I have a doctor's appointment. This is me telling you guys that I'll be missing tomorrow's stream.
I will not be held accountable tomorrow because I'll be an hour late. So unless the stream starts an hour late, I shan't be there on time. This is me telling you guys. Um, it's more like prescriptive internally than on the page. Yeah, it's very much like about the process of writing than it is about, this is how you make a well-crafted villain.
This is for people who need therapy. This is not for well-adjusted writers, if there are
Is there
any.
anything? Is there anything as a well-adjusted writer?
Oh, no.
Please show Exhibit A. Roll the die. What is your rating out of 6, Grape?
Rating out of 6. I would give it a 5 out of 6. Yeah.
Ooh,
5 out of
I
6.
think
Didn't love the AIDS reference. Didn't
I
love that
didn't
part.
love all the cocaine thoughts. They were there. I think I would give it a 5 too.
Yeah.
But also with the, asterisk that this is the first kind of nonfiction, not nonfiction, this is kind of first kind of memoir writing book I read. Uh, but I enjoyed it immensely. I enjoyed the voice. I enjoyed the advice. I thought most of it
Mhm.
made sense. I thought some of it was inside thoughts, as we all know. And I just, yeah, I think this is, a staple for a reason.
I think it's a book that I would come back to, like, when I'm, in the writer's block, when I'm feeling in the dumps, when I'm like,
I think
feeling.
this is not a book for beginners, though. I think this is a book for people who
Mhm.
has written.
I agree. It's a book for people who have attempted to write and maybe have not successfully finished as well.
Hello, it's
Just in
me.
like a oh, it was probably me. Sorry, you were like cutting it out for me for at one point. Can you hear me?
Oh, yes.
Um, I don't know what the last sentence I said was, but I'm sure to repeat the whole thing. I agreed that it wasn't a book for beginners, but I think it's a book for people who have attempted to write and maybe who just haven't finished. Um, as maybe like a morale boost kind of thing.
Yeah, I definitely think this is one of those motivational books. And if you're struggling with the writing process, if you're looking for like, ugh, is this the right choice for me? Do I want to do this?
Hmm.
I think this is definitely the book to read, but I don't think this is the book to recommend someone where you're like, I want to get into writing. How do I do it?
Yeah, this is not a here's the formula to writing a book kind of book. This is a here's how to help your mindset while writing and such. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Madeline says, really enjoy the chat, guys. This is the craft book that has created the most interesting debates on the chat for me, perhaps because it's
Mm.
less instructions and more vibes. That's
Mhm.
kind of because this is the first time where I've kind of actually read excerpts from the book, and I think it's because it's one of the vibe books. So it just like, in order to get the vibe, I want to just like kind of show what it's all about. Um, Also, she validated pantsing a little bit. She did indeed, and I
Mhm.
think all forms of writing is valid though, Wendy. So
Yeah.
it's kind of anti-formula. No, I wouldn't say that. She like, if you boil it down, her writing advice is very like, standard. Like, know your characters, be consistent, get a routine.
I think it's a lot of also it's about like being flexible in your writing.
Yeah.
So maybe not anti-outline, but like anti-rigid outline.
Yeah. Um, Great chat. I loved it. Very fun to me. This felt more like a creative writing classes I took in the university. Ooh, okay. Yeah, great combo, says DW. Thank you so much, guys. I had so much fun talking about this book.
Bitch, what are you doing?
Me to me every day.
I'm sorry. People are stupid.
That's just a fact of life. Um, Thank you so much, Grape, for agreeing to do this little book talk with me.
Thank you for accepting me being in the car as we
I
chat
will I will accept you any way you want to
and
present
for
yourself.
being late.
I will accept you any day of the week, no matter how late you are. I have nothing but undying, unconditional love for you. So I
Also,
can't do that. I can't do it. Here you go. Ooh, what's the next book, Stieg? I'm so glad you asked, Susan. May I present next month's book, The Story Grid by Sean Coyne. Someone said they wanted a textbook. Was that you, Grape? This
hmm
is like literally so textbook coded.
I love it.
I'm doing this with Malin next month. The Story Grid. What good editors know? This is a book about editing. Um,
Oh my god.
I
Sorry.
know, and since I'm edging ever so closer to the end of my manuscript, I thought, what a perfect time to read this floppy monstrosity of a college textbook. Um, it's so out of place on my little dainty craft bookshelf.
hmm
It's just like, do you know that Abby Lee Miller sound? And then suddenly there's like a ah,
There's a
that's this
neat
girl.
grating sound.
Yeah, that's this girl. Uh, it's a vibe being. It is really a vibe being in the car. I love this. Maybe we should just do craft chats from cars from now on because I love this. Not that I have a car. Could I maybe just borrow a car from the lot or something?
You can get in a stranger's car.
Yeah. I mean, fool me once. It's a thick one. Yes, I forgot about the chunky monster. That is a textbook in these. It is super focused on Silence of the Lambs, the novel.
Mm.
Um, oh no, not again. What's up with those craft authors' obsession with those books? Kendra Strange's car. Car craft chat. Yeah, CCC. Oh my God,
CCC.
Grape, stop. We have the same brain. Thank you so much for being here, Grape. Thank you so much for being here, Grape's car. Does she have a name?
Camille.
Oh, that is so hot. I can't
Thank you.
explain it. So hot. Next month, I guess, is another month of writing streams. I am quickly going to put the little spreadsheet for signing up if you want to join as a co-host on any of the writing streams for next month. As I said, craft chat I'm doing with Malin. It's going to be on this bad boy, the last Tuesday of the month. Let me just blah, 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 copy link. There you go. Uh, I'm just going to pop it in chat real quick. I don't know if that actually works. Yeah, if you want to join for a craft stream, sign up. There's plenty of spots until there's not. Yeah, Camille the Cunty Car. Love it. Uh, I'm happy to have any and all co-hosts. Uh, Thank you for the stream. Thanks especially to Camille. Yeah,
She
of
says you're
now author
welcome.
of now author to fame. Yeah, next month is this book, and I guess I'll see you Yeah, buckle up, bitches, and I'll see you next Tuesday.
Goodbye.